Now, back to Hodge Podge with Carol McCarthy on KDLM Detroit Lakes.
All right, welcome back to Hodge Podge, and joining me on the line this morning is Tera Guetter from Pelican River Watershed District. Good morning, Tera.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. We are always, it's always a new day with this Zooming and whatnot. Just always little developments, little quirks with the system. But
well, I hooked up a different camera to my computer screen, and obviously it didn't quite connect somehow, but my laptop is working great. So thank you for bearing with me.
Great. Well, let's talk about what your agency is doing during this time. Of course, water quality and monitoring our area lakes, rivers, and streams continues through this whole deal. And I know that your group is out there now. Great time to be out and about and testing. I know Adam is out there, you said today, and I'm sure you get out in the field these days as well. But update us on what you're up to.
Yeah, so we are definitely open for business. I know some of the folks are like, are you still doing your permits and so forth? And absolutely. And we do have different protocols. People just can't stop by our office building and pop up. We request that they notify us by email or give us a phone call, and we schedule a site visit, or we can process our permits and everything via the mail or through the internet. So that's kind of nice. So we really haven't missed any beats that way. So I'm really happy about that. And I think we're going to continue that same type of protocol for a little while yet. I don't know where this whole COVID-19 response plan is going, but that's how we're operating as a district, so that's good. Our Board of Managers meetings, that's changed to like a Zoom type format as well. So the interactive television type format, and I think this month we'll continue that. We'll see if we're able to meet in person next month, but we are cramped for space to get the required 6-foot social distancing. We have a 7-member board plus some staff and so forth, so we would need a fairly large room to accommodate that. So I think we'll continue the Zoom meetings and until further notice on that. We are the month of April was rather cool. I mean, we had the mid-month was at least 20 degrees colder than the monthly average. It was supposed to be up in the 40s, and it was down in the 20s and even less in the teens for a good part of the mid-month. And our crew went out and started to map out the curly-leaf pondweed on Detroit and Sally Melissa. And Adam's a new employee, and he came back and he said, "Tera, can't find any." I went, "Oh no, it's out there." It hasn't magically disappeared. But because of the cooler weather, I mean, the plants are so small. They were only about 2 inches tall. And so, in fact, they're going out there today to, what they do is they take a rake and they drop it down, and then they start saying plus or minus, is there presence of curly leaf or not? And they map it. And those are our treatment maps we send to the DNR. So we do have the people who will do the treatments all lined up. And as soon as they get back with their maps now, today, by Monday, we'll have our new permits going, and hopefully we'll be treating the next couple of weeks. So that's going okay. Adam has been working hard on getting all of our monitoring equipment out and deployed and for the stream sites, and he got the boat ready to do the lakes. So right now we're working on our COVID-19 operations plan so we can safely operate out in the field and with the public. So we have to have our social distancing, wear masks out in public and disinfect certain things, protocols, like if one person's using the monitoring sonde, that's it, and one person with driving and so forth, and not, mixing duties, so for cross-contamination. And those are requirements that we need to do, so that's what we're working on. None of us went to school for this, so it's all brand new for us. So I know as administrators, a lot of different items that we have to do, so we're trying to keep our employees safe and the public safe, but yet provide the service that that is needed. So just like the businesses, we all have to kind of worry about that. So
Tera, do you have interns working with you now?
We will start our interns. One will come next week and the other one later on in the month. And that's where we have to do, with the social distancing and so forth, and mask wearing and so forth. And, who does what and keeping your distance. In a boat, we're able to keep that 6-foot distance. But again, only one person would be behind the wheel, only one person operating the sun and so forth. So that's the protocols that we're working out. People take their temperature every day, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. And talk about the permitting that you do with the public. You do shoreline restoration projects. People are working on that. Anything that is on the shore of any of our area lakes in the Pelican River Watershed District.
Yeah, anything within 37.5 feet for sure, and some lakes maybe up to 50 feet. Any activity you do in that zone, we have a permit for that. Whether it's we haven't had a lot of reports of any ice push this year, fortunately, but any movement with that, any modifications to the shoreline, if you have some erosion or some restoration work with plantings and so forth, rain gardens, stormwater runoff, sidewalks, if you're going to have a pathway, access path to the lake, things like that. We're there to help make sure that the changes that are made that are done that will meet the needs of the homeowner and also meet the needs of the lake too. So that's why people are there. So we want them to be able to use it. But yet, I know that we need to have certain activities go on. So we'll make sure that they're done appropriately. So that's kind of what we do, and educate too. Okay. Because a lot of times people buy a new piece of lakeshore and they don't understand that, it's not very good. You're not supposed to clear off all the trees. It's there to hold the shoreline in place, provide habitat for, wildlife, as well as it for fisheries purposes too. So those are the type of things we try to educate on.
Okay. Tera Guetter, Administrator for the Pelican River Watershed District, on the line with me this morning. Now, during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, will that affect, maybe the monitoring of area, not on your part, but I know that you do some work with invasive species in the area. Is there any concern about not being able to provide the intensity that we've had in the past at lake accesses and area lakes and rivers and streams?
Well, the lake access, I don't know. That'd be Carl Koenig with Becker Soil and Water. He runs that program. So, but for us, for the treatments that we do, the lake-wide and bay-wide treatments, shouldn't miss a beat this year. Okay. We've worked with DNR, and they said we've already submitted our permits back in February. Now it's just a matter of ground truthing the patches this year, the area and the location, and we are able to do that. And DNR is able, their staff able to have social distancing and being able to go out in the boat and say, yep, that looks good, and process the permit. So we've already been in touch with that. So that I was fortunate. I was a little bit worried, I'm not gonna lie, a couple months ago, if we're gonna be able to do it, but yes, that's been resolved. So really, really happy about that. The only other bit of excitement around here, let's see, it's been out on Willow and 59 area, just a lot of high water. We had several phone calls, saying the wetlands are high and so forth. And the culvert under 59 right at Willow intersection there on our Ditch 14 system, I think with the high water, a lot of the cattails kind of dislodged and it just floated in and plugged the culvert. And within a couple days, the water level was getting high. And I think there's some area construction going on, whether at the airport or the wastewater treatment plant somewhere. There's a lot of dewatering going on in those basins. So with a plug culvert, high water, more dewatering, all of a sudden the water levels jumped up. But MnDOT was excellent. They came out there on 2 different occasions within 2 days and kept those culverts open, and water levels dropped significantly. So any of you out there wondering what was happening out there, that's what was happening. Okay. I thought maybe a beaver had gotten in there, but it wasn't. It was just the cattails. So
okay. Have you been working with the Detroit Lake School District's project at the high school? I understand there's a high water table there that they're concerned about with construction. I mean, were they required to get permits through the Pelican River Watershed District being so close to the lake?
Yes. So for the stormwater management, so that will be, they'll probably working on with dewatering, because unfortunately the water levels coming into fall were 8 inches above what's called the ordinary water level, not the high, but the ordinary. And this spring, again, we were lucky. I mean, we did get a lot of snow, but fortunately we didn't get a lot of snowstorms in March, April timeframe. So, but our water levels are still anywhere between 6 and 8 inches above the ordinary high water level. So when you're so close to the water table, the way it is at the high school, they're dealing with an extra, 8 inches of water they hadn't planned on.
So where does that go?
They have to just de-water.
They don't.
Maybe that's where all the water
Have a bucket brigade back in the lake.
That's what I'm just saying. There's been so much dewatering trying to, be able to do the construction project. So that all does go out to that ditch 14 in St. Clair Lake area. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Tera Guetter from Pelican River Watershed District with me today, talking about giving us our monthly update from the work that you do at your agency, and dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic. It hits us all corners, sectors of life, and agencies, and the work going on here in Detroit Lakes.
One of the things you're talking about, high school and youth and so forth, and one of the things that we absolutely look forward to is, one is getting our college interns here working, because they always bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and you're like, yeah, it's so fun working here again. And then the projects that we do with the schools, whether it's the Sucker Creek program that got called off, the Fisher Farm tour out in Frazee that was canceled, the Water Festival, all of that is just been canceled. And those are things that we look forward to, working with the youth, and we miss them dearly. So we're a little sad about that around here. I mean, it's just every time we hear another cancellation, we're like, oh. So when Raina was talking about the gremlins and trying to, keep, it's like you just kind of take a deep breath and like, yep, that's another thing that's gone for this year, another thing. And, the graduations, the proms and things like that with the youth, it's really hard. So, but again, just I'm hoping that, we just kind of keep working through this as a community, and we got to keep our lakes clean, because I think people are going to be wanting to be on them this summer quite a bit, because you can social distance on the lake pretty good. So,
all right, Tera Guetter from